Tipu Sultan, often hailed as the Tiger of Mysore by a section of historians and politicians. In our history textbooks, Tipu is glorified as a freedom fighter who fought the British. However, his fight against the British was not a fight against a British colonialism, as he had taken the help of the French colonialists to save his kingdom. He had also asked Zaman Shah, the king of Afghanistan, and the Ottoman Sultan in Turkey to invade India and establish Islamic rule. Tipu is also portrayed as an epitome of religious tolerance, citing the donations he made to the Sringeri Sharda temple. The truth is that much of his atrocities has been whitewashed by the secular historians. Historian Lewis B. Burry notes that the devastation inflicted by Tipu Sultan in South India was harsher and more barbaric than the atrocities of Mahmud Ghazni, Alauddin Khalji, and Nadir Shah. In 1788, Tipu Sultan invaded Kodagu and devastated many towns and villages. Mir Hussain Kirmani, Tipu's courtier and biographer, has detailed how the raid resulted in the burning of hundreds of villages in Kushalpura, now Kushalnagar, Talakaveri, Madikeri, and other locations. In a letter to Runmast Khan, the Nawab of Kurnool, Tipu brags about taking 40,000 Kurgis as prisoners, forcefully converting them to Islam and making them part of the Ahmadi army. He also relocated about 7,000 Muslim families from other places, especially from the Sheikh and Sayyid sects, in an attempt to Islamize Coorg. Kozhikode in modern-day Kerala also bore the brunt of his attacks. There were about 7,000 Brahmin families and many more Hindu households in the city. Tipu slaughtered about 2,000 of them, forcing many of the survivors to flee into the jungles. The destruction and persecution in Kozhikode was so profound that it altered the town's fabric forever. Another traumatic episode of death and destruction happened in Melukote sometime in the 1790s. The town was home to a large number of the Mandyam Iyengar community. On the day of Diwali, scores of them congregated on the banks of Kaveri when Tipu's hordes went on a rampage. More than 700 families, including women and children, were killed. To this day, the people of Melukote do not celebrate Deepavali in remembrance of the families who lost their lives. Tipu Sultan also razed down temples like Aurangzeb, Ghazni, and Ghori did. William Logan's Malabar Manual notes that Tipu demolished the Trichambaram and Talipparampu temples at Chirakkal Taluka, the Tiruvangattu temple in Talacheri, and the Ponmeri temple in Badakara. The Maniur Mosque, which was previously a Hindu temple, was converted into a mosque during Tipu's reign. Tipu Sultan's army also demolished the Harihareshwara temple at Harihar, the Varahaswamy temple at Srirangapatnam, and the Odakaraya temple at Hospet. That Tipu is a religious bigot is evident from over 2,000 letters written in Farsi in Tipu's own handwriting, which was discovered by Colonel William Kirkpatrick after the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Tipu refers to Hindus as kafirs or infidels in all of his letters, and was clear that they must be cleansed for establishing Islamic rule. Here is a description of Tipu's atrocities in the words of Portuguese missionary Father Bartholomew. First, a corps of 30,000 barbarians who butchered everybody on the way, followed by the field gun unit. Tipu was riding on an elephant, behind which another army of 30,000 soldiers followed. Most of the men and women were hanged in Calicut. First, mothers were hanged with their children tied to their necks. That barbarian Tipu Sultan tied the naked Christians and Hindus to the legs of elephants and made the elephants move around till the bodies of the helpless victims were torn to pieces. These atrocities were told to me by the victims of Tipu Sultan, who escaped from the clutches of his army and reached Varapura. For decades, secular historians were kind to Tipu, whitewashing and brushing under the carpet his atrocities. But Tipu will be remembered by the common Indian for being the tyrannical fanatic and megalomaniac murderer that he was.